Hey everyone, it's Dave from Dave's Ohio Barbecue. Today I've got another thermometer review. I'm going to be reviewing the TempSpike from ThermoPro. Stick around. In the issue of full disclosure, ThermoPro sent me this free of charge. I've reviewed some of their thermometers in the past. I've liked them pretty much. They all work. I still have many of them. I'm using a second ThermoPro in this video to kind of check temperatures and stuff. So they've been pretty consistent with me. They have a decent warranty. You know, they're willing to help their customers if something goes wrong. So I like their products. And they tend to be pretty reasonably priced. That's the other thing I like. So they sent me this ThermoPro TempSpike. And I'll open up the box here. Here's what it looks like. I haven't really taken it out of the package yet. It's one of those completely wireless thermometers, kind of like the meter or the meat stick, things like that. You've seen them all over Instagram. You've seen them online. They're the new trend. It's basically, you know, two thermometers in one. The silver portion down here takes the temperature of your meat, and then this portion up here, the ceramic portion, will take the ambient temperature of your cook chamber. Okay. I've had several of these in the past. Some have worked really great, not of this brand. I've had several of those types of thermometers in the past. Some have worked really well. Some of them have not really worked at all. My biggest issue is always the connectivity. Sometimes it takes a while to connect them. So I've got this out of the box. The rest of the stuff in the box, we've got charging cord, we've got instructions, and some warranty cards and some basic information. I'm going to go read the instructions, make sure I know how to use this thing, get it all charged up, and then we'll come out and start taking a look at it, give it a full review. All right, so I charged this thing up. Take this lid off because it's awfully reflective here. Okay. And a couple things you should know about it beforehand. We've got the battery light. So when it's charging, it's got two different battery sensors, or battery light indicators here. You've got the probe and you've got the booster. When you're charging it, this booster light flashes slowly, and then when it's fully charged, it goes out. So that's good to know. The probe, same thing. While it's charging inside of this base, because this is the charger, it'll blink slowly, and then when it's charged, it turns off completely. Now, when you're using this stuff, when it's in use, if either of these are starting to run out of battery, they'll start blinking rapidly. Okay, so when you see that, then you know you're running out of battery. Over here, you kind of got the S button, they call it. That's for anything from pairing to resetting the unit. It has like 3 different functions that you can do with it, and then you've got a Bluetooth symbol there. So let me tell you a little bit how this works. The range from this probe, the Bluetooth range, is not very far. You wouldn't get, you know, too far into your house before you lost the signal. The way these things work is this thing right here is the booster. Okay, it says it right there. I can't tell if it's upside down or not. Anyway, and what happens is this sends a Bluetooth signal that connects to this orange and gray base. The gray base amplifies the signal and sends it throughout your house so that you can actually pick up the signal on your phone from a great distance. So you need to keep this sort of near your smoker. Not so close that it melts, obviously. It says in the directions, keep it at least a foot away from your smoker, which makes sense. But this needs to be pretty close to your smoker so that the signal from the probe goes to the booster, and then it goes out of the booster to your phone. Okay, so everything's there. I'm going to take this out and see how the connectivity works. Now, oh, I've got the Bluetooth light is already blinking there. I don't know if you can see that. So that's telling me that it is connected. It's blinking green. Okay, everyone see that? All right, cool. So that's ready to go. I'm just going to kind of rest it here for now. So also in the directions, they've got this pamphlet that's got, you know, QR codes for Android and an iPhone. If you scan it, it'll download the TempSpike app, and that's what you're going to connect to this manually. So I'm going to do that with my phone right now. Open that up. It's going to open up the App Store here. We got the TempSpike app. I'm going to get it. And it'll ask me to double click to confirm and all that good stuff. Okay, downloading hopefully relatively quickly. Cool. So there it is. Now I've got the probe is outside of the booster right now. I'm going to say open up this app and let's see how well we can connect. TempSpike would like to use Bluetooth. I say okay. TempSpike likes to know, okay, that's how it's going to tell you if your meat is too hot or anything like that. And then it says before using TempSpike, please fully charge. I did that. And add device. Okay, it's connecting. Cool. There it is, and it's telling me the temperature. Okay, it's saying right now that we've got 80 and 84 between the two probes, which is odd because they're both outside. But it could be the difference in color, because one's dark and one is, light. Let me peel the sticker off here real quick. It could be a difference in color because one's dark and one's light. Let me peel the sticker off before I forget. So there's a line on this probe. All the probes have this. And this is where you have to put the meat into. So this has to go into the meat up to this line right here by my thumb. Okay, that's how deep it has to go in there. Right now, if you look at the chart, it both says 20 or 84 degrees, so it's evened out. So that at least the front and the back have a uniform temperature, which is cool. A couple things about the unit here. It's plastic, but it seems, it doesn't seem like thin plastic. It seems pretty good. You've got your USB charging port on the side there with a nice little plastic flap on it. Other than that, it's got little rubber feet on the back. It is not magnetic, so you can't stick it to the side of your smoker. But you're probably just going to leave it resting on top of something. I'll use it with my pellet smoker quite a bit, and I'll leave it resting on top of the pellet bin. It works fine right there. A couple things it says in the directions about the probe itself. The meat thermometer here has a high temperature of 212 degrees. So there's really nothing you're going to be cooking that you're going to bring up much higher than that. Cooking a brisket, it's usually low 200s, so that's fine. The ambient temperature probe has a maximum range of 527, which seems like well, it is an odd number, but it seems odd that it stops at 27, but that's the range there. So if you're planning on searing something at a super high temperature, 600, 700, 800 degrees, don't use this. But if you're smoking something 300, 350, anywhere up to 500, then it should be great. So to make sure these temperatures are accurate today, I'm going to be using two different things. I'll have a second probe inside the chicken. That's what I'm going to be cooking from Thermo Pro, and I'll use this to both measure the internal temperature of the chicken and the ambient temperature of the cook chamber. And then I'm also going to use just my probe thermometer and kind of double check some of the chicken temperatures just to make sure that we're all in the ballpark and everything's working appropriately. So when you pair this probe with this booster, it says your range is going to be about 500 feet or 150 meters, which 500 feet covers anywhere I'm going to be in my house. I'm going to do a test though. Usually these things lose connection halfway down my driveway is about 500 feet from my grill. So I'll do the test. I'll walk through the house. I'll walk down. I'll let you know if it loses connection and how easy it is to reconnect. That's the thing. One of these other types of probes that I bought from a different company, you'd lose connection and it was a process to get it connected again, and that irritated me. I haven't used that thing since. It sits in a drawer. Probably going to give it to my brother because he doesn't know any better. But that's going to be the big test. How easily does this thing reconnect to my phone? Because that's the big issue I've had when I've gone run an errand or something and I come back and it doesn't find my phone. Hopefully it goes really, really well with that. So I've got my chickens all prepared. I'm going to put them on the smoker here and get all my thermometers set up. Let me get the chickens in there first. I'm going to kind of put them side by side here. And actually, what I'm doing, I like to put the breast meat or the thigh meat closer to the fire. Just a personal preference. All right, so booster and put it here on the end of my pellet bin just so it doesn't get messed up there. And then I'm going to put the probe in this thickest part of the breast here and go all the way up to that line, making sure that the ambient sensor is still got some air around it so it can actually register the temperature. Okay. Then to sort of compare temperatures, I've got my other probe here. I'm going to put this one in here and sort of measure the ambient temperature in the same ballpark right about there. And then the second probe I'm going to use for the meat temperature. I'm going to put it in the same breast to start, although I don't know if that's best practice, but I'm going to put it in there sort of in the same general area. I know that won't be a completely accurate test, but that's what's going to have to do here, okay? I will check the temperatures on everything from time to time using the external probe. Okay, and I will make sure that everything is reading accurately. See here, the 2-probe thermometer and the TempSpike are in the same basic ballpark. I mean, those 2 probes are not in the same spot of the chicken breast, so they're going to read, you know, a couple degrees off, which is fine. But the ambient temperature seems to be pretty close. Now, both those thermometers are not at the exact same level, and there's air current and stuff, so being off by like 3 or 4 degrees or something, that's pretty normal. Now what I want to do, I want to check the temperature of the chicken breast with my probe thermometer, which I know is pretty accurate from past uses. And I'm going to kind of get right down in there if I can. Okay, you can see we're reading like high 130s, like 131. It seems to be slowing down. 139.1 is what I got there. And when we look at the app, you can see the app says 143. So, you know, 3-degree difference. I wasn't in the exact same part of the meat, but pretty much in the general ballpark, which is good. All right, so it has reached everywhere in my house. I'm now on the complete opposite side of the house, a good, 400 feet away probably. And I'm walking down my driveway. I'm going to see when this thing clicks off here. Like I said, my grills are in the back corner of the house. They're kind of located there, and it dropped off halfway down my driveway. It says the Bluetooth connection between your cell phone and your booster is disconnected. So that is well over 400 feet, and it's probably pretty close to 500 feet. That's with a whole building in between as well. So let's start heading back and see how easily it reconnects to the booster. I'm gonna click OK here. All right, so I'm going around the house here towards the backyard. I'm probably about 300 feet away now. And there you go. I'm still on the complete opposite side of my house, all the way over by my garage, and it reconnected. I didn't have to press any buttons. I didn't have to do anything. It just reconnected. I like that a lot. So pretty much as advertised. I mean, it gets a pretty accurate temperature. It's within, 3 or 4 degrees for the internal temperature of the meat, and it's probably about, maybe 5, 6, 7 degrees ambient temperature. That one's a little trickier only because it's not the same temperature all the way across my smoker, especially my smoker, which smokes extremely unevenly. So I'm pretty happy with that. Everything else that they advertise seems to be true. Has about a 500-foot range. Good. Bluetooth is nice and strong. It connects really easy. That's what I like. So when you lose your signal, let's say you put your phone in your pocket and you go to run an errand and you forget, disconnects. When you get back, once you get in range, it reconnects just like instantaneously, which I really like. Couple tips. Don't go cleaning it while it's hot. Let it cool down completely because you might damage the internal mechanisms if you go and clean it really, really quick. Make sure that you keep the base charged. When you're done and it's all cleaned up, just snap it back in the base and it'll charge up for you and be ready for the next use. I like it. I mean, it seems pretty handy. I really like it for things like rotisserie chickens, things like that, where a wire would be in the way. It comes in really handy for anything you're cooking that's moving, really, really handy. And the range is great. It went through a brick wall into my kitchen, which is nice. And then it went all the way through my house, which is a couple brick walls, into my driveway, which is really good. Now, if you have some sort of exotic, really thick aluminum siding from the 40s or something on your house, your results may vary. But it seems pretty promising that you'll get pretty decent results. Another big benefit is the price. Usually it's $79.99, so it's $80, which already is cheaper than some of those other wireless probes that are out there. For the first month they're selling this thing though, because this just went on the market, they're selling it for $55.99, so $56. That's a really good price compared to a lot of the other ones that I've seen out there. That is pretty reasonable. Another thing I really like is you get the notifications on your phone just like any one of these wireless probes, but in this one, if your temperatures go out of range, or if your smoker's too hot, or your food gets too hot, or whatever it is, or drops too low, the booster also makes a noise, which is really cool. Because a lot of times I'll go inside and I'll leave my phone on the kitchen counter, and I'll come back out, and I'm not paying attention. If this thing starts beeping, I know something's up, and I need to check it. That's a cool added feature that a lot of the other wireless probes don't have. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to me on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Dave's Ohio Barbecue. I also have a Facebook page. Just look up Dave's Ohio Barbecue on Facebook. You should find it. And subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down below. I hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I make a new video. Leave a comment. Hit the like button. You know the drill. I got a lot of videos coming out real soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.